Hi everybody, welcome back to this week's my weekly Rage Fix. In this week's Parshas Kiseitze, the Torah tells us an interesting law that when you build a house, and usually most homes have a roof, you have to make a fence around your house, and you have to make a fence around the roof. Ki yipol hanofel mimeno, because the faller may fall from it, or the faller will fall from it. So we see it over here, an interesting concept, that the Torah calls the person that falls a faller. It doesn't say because somebody might fall from the roof, but it says rather that the faller will fall from there. And so we see an interesting thing, that even though he seems to already have the name, the faller, Hashem already calls him the faller, that means he was destined to die anyway. But the Torah is teaching us something important, that we have an obligation not to make sure that somebody doesn't die. He's going to die. It was predetermined that he was going to die. But rather, the Torah is giving us an obligation to make sure that his death does not come about through you. Hashem will judge you for the actions that you do, whether or not they're directly related to the result of what happened. So by you not putting up a fence, you are allowing that person to actually fall. So yes, if you put up a fence, Hashem is using you in His employ to carry out His work. But you are going to be held blameworthy if you don't put up that fence to make sure that the people don't fall. So you're obligated for people's safety. There was a story that happened once in Brooklyn. I'm sure it's happened in a few places, but one particular story that I know of, where there was a child who unfortunately fell out of a fourth-story building, and the window was not protected by metal bars, and it's a very big responsibility. And people were mourning and saying how tragic it was and accidental it was. And I remember I overheard a rabbi saying that not putting up those bars on that window was an incredible irresponsibility on those parents. And so, like our sages say, that a good thing happens through a good person, and bad things happen through bad people. Magalgal and schos al yidei zakai, a meritorious thing happens through somebody who is meritorious himself, and an evil deed or an evil thing happens through somebody who's bad. And that is our responsibility. Our responsibility is always to look out and make sure to be as responsible as we can. So again, we're not being held blameworthy for the fact that the person died, but we're being held blameworthy for the fact that it happened through us. Another Torah concept that we have to try to bend our minds to. Great Shabbos.